Wow, it is so great to be back in your ears after my very brief summer hiatus. Anything crazy happened while I was gone? No, of course, don't answer that. There's much too much crazy, actually. Oh, don't worry. No, I've been easing myself back into the news and, of course, came across a sweet little news morsel that you can very much bet that I have some serious choice words for. Oh, sure. Seems like a small potatoes. So small, maybe even you missed it. But guess what? Donald Trump has decided to spend a whopping $200 million on not any kind of international aid. Oh my God, no, not going to wipe out any type of medical or educational debt. I'm not even going to buy extra guns for cops if that's more your thing, but to begin construction on a ballroom. Oh my God. It was just announced that the president's going to begin construction on a new ballroom at the White House in September, and it's going to cost $200 million. And look, if any of you have ever done even 1 hour of construction on your own home, I could tell you that the first number they give you is never the last. So I'm sure that we can expect that bill to be bloated and extended and much higher than anticipated. Is this a waste of money? Oh, absolutely, yes. Is it a project steeped, just steeped with hubris? I mean, that too. Is anyone from Doge even pretending to care about cutting costs and speaking out on this waste of money? Oh, no, of course not. So I'm sorry that your grandma's Social Security check was cut in half, but at least the next time Trump hosts one of his crypto dinners, they'll have nicer bathrooms to piss in. Why do we even need ballrooms in the year of our Lord 2025? Can't we all just admit that we eat dinner standing over the kitchen sink and just get on with it? Not to mention the fact that goddamn plane that he accepted from the Qatari government, they won't even tell you how much it's going to cost to renovate and make it presidentially appropriate. So government waste. What a great topic of conversation to want to pull your eyeballs out about. This is Choice Words. I'm Samantha Bee. My guest this week is my former co-worker and one of my favorite comedians, and her name is Jena Friedman. Oh, I love Jena Friedman, and I am not kidding. She is great. If you happen to be at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, she is there workshopping her new show, Motherfucker, now. And if you happen to be more local, just in case you don't already know, I am taking my live show, How to Survive Menopause, back on the road this fall. I'll be in West Hampton on September 6th, Red Bank, New Jersey on September 12th, Ridgefield, Connecticut, my people, September 21st, Detroit on September 24th, and even more great places you can find. Just get tickets on SamanthaBee.com. Everybody out there, take a listen and make good choices.
It's so nice to see you, Sam.
It's so nice to see you. Oh my God. I miss having you in my life. We've known each other for a long time. How long? When did you start? What year did you start? We worked together at the Daily Show, just for context.
2012.
2012.
I was always such a fan of yours. And I remember having to just like temper it and pretend. Because like if you're too much of a fan, like remember, I don't know if you remember when like was it Jerry from Ben and Jerry's came to the Daily Show? Mm-hmm. And I just like fangirled on him too much. I was like, I love Ben and Jerry's. Your flavor graveyard taught me about mortality. And he just like walked away from me like a weirdo.
Your flavor graveyard taught me about mortality is one of the better sentences I've heard maybe in my life. That's great. Ben just backs out of the room. as you're talking to
Yeah.
them.
Well, Bennett, their factory in Burlington, Vermont, they had
Yeah.
a flavor graveyard where all of their best flavors that people didn't appreciate went. And as I'm talking about this, and I'm like, that resonates with me so much. Just like really great flavor that people don't appreciate. Welcome to my world.
Okay. Well, first, let's set the scene before we dive into it, because you're doing a show in Edinburgh and it's coming, it's like August 8th to when is it?
The 24th.
24th, which is, it's called Motherfucker, which I love. And is this like is this the follow-up to American Cunt?
So the follow-up to American Cunt was a special called Lady Killer.
Lady Killer. And you were pregnant. It was good. It's so good.
So pregnant. Thank you for saying that.
Pregnant. Yeah. Are you excited to go? Do you
I
get
am.
nervous? Do you have tension? Are you like, it's coming up?
A little bit. This show is so personal. So, and the culture in Edinburgh, I know I pronounce it wrong. It's like Edinbra. But
I can't say it. I'm not even going to try.
What if I, the whole, I was like, the culture in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
They have so many reviewers. It's like, I remember when I did American Cunt, I had 13 reviewers come to 12 shows.
Jesus.
And they just eviscerate you, which I'm fine. Criticism is my love language. I'm okay with it.
Right.
But with this show, it's so personal that I'm...
Right.
I mean, I guess worse than getting negative reviews or no reviews. So I do hope people come and see it.
I think that they will come and see it because I feel like you are so known there.
I was, but then the last time I was there was 2019. And then I think the pandemic has just changed our whole... There's so much... I can't keep up. Post-pandemic, it's like millions of comedians and so many podcasts and so much content. I don't know where. It's fine.
Tell me about the personal nature of the show, because like oh my God. I mean, the conditions under which you recorded Lady Killer. Jeez,
because what are you, okay. So the thing about my mom.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm going to cry. But I found out that she was sick a day before I taped that special. I didn't know how sick she was, but I found out that she was sick.
Yeah.
It was the hardest show I've done in my life because I was so sad. And my mom was even like, just do it. Just go through, do your show and then come see me. I can't even watch the special because I remember like when it ends, you tape your special. It's at Music Hall of Williamsburg. I'm like 27 weeks pregnant. This is a joyous moment. And I got off stage after that second show and I could see it in my whole body language. I just collapsed. Like Josh wasn't with me. He was in LA because he had a show. So I was alone.
Yeah.
And I knew, I kind of had a feeling my mom, I didn't know. I thought she was going to like die in a year. I didn't know it was going to be 6 months later. Yeah. Sorry. 6 weeks. 6 weeks later. I thought like, oh my God, my mom's going to die in a year from now.
Right.
And I didn't know. I was like worst case scenario thinking. And then I remember like how I felt in that moment. And it was surreal. It was the hardest performance I've ever done.
Yeah.
I had a joke or two about her in the show. And I remember like just doing the joke and disassociating because the joke was like, my mom found me on Instagram and it was like that moment. It felt like that moment in Jurassic Park where like they learned how to unlock doors.
Right.
And I remember telling that joke and maybe another joke about her. And I never talked about her on stage. So it was like new. And I remember thinking that she wasn't going to be okay. And I'm telling this joke about her, like my mom couldn't be here because my comedy's not for everyone. Ha 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 ha.
Right.
And then, yeah, I mean, it was awful. But then there's not much else to say other than I got like the rough cut of the show and there were jokes in it that she didn't like. And I was like, I'm not going to play it for her because I don't want to die sooner. There was like this joke about Jesus and she was always like, don't joke about that kind of stuff. So
Right. So this show that you're doing in Edinburgh is like super personal. That's hard to grapple. How do you make the decision to do that? Or does the decision like...
There was nothing else I could do. So after she died, and I talk about this in the show, my husband was like, get back out. He like, this is like a joke I say in the show, but he was like as supportive as a straight guy can be. Like he turned into a football coach, was like, get back out there. Like, Rudy. And
clear your eyes, full heart.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I started doing stand-up, and this is kind of the culmination of like what all that looked like.
Right.
So I just really got back out on stage. I mean, I was definitely still such a postpartum mess, but the minute I could walk, I got back out because I had a C-section, so I was like bedridden for a minute. But I got back out on stage and I started doing jokes. And then the cool thing about going to Edinburgh is like, they're not expecting you to be like joke. Like it's a show with a point of view and you're saying something. And so it did feel like the right place to premiere the show.
I don't know. How do you prepare for something? So just kind of, you just expect to like, you're kind of like working the material at the same time, right? Like
I've always used Edinburgh as like a workshop because if you do the whole month, you're doing 20 something shows every single day at the same time in the same venue with tourists from around the world. So you really get to know if a joke works or how you can really focus on fine tuning the show. Yeah. And because I was never a touring comic, I was working with you at the Daily Show, or I was like working jobs. That festival for me was a really good workshop of how to, the last 2 hours that I taped, I worked them out there.
Right. I think you're one of, okay. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go, I think you're one of the funniest people I've ever known. You really are.
I feel that way about you. Do you remember Kingsley? Why do I know this guy's name? Kingsley Brown or whatever, the misogynist when we did that piece about women in the military?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I just remember how funny you were and how game you were to do anything.
Right.
You have you're just so naturally funny and there's no ego and there's no vanity, which are fine. Vanity and ego are fine, but you have none of that. And so for me coming up and like seeing you, you were like everything I wanted to be like. And you just...
Well, then I'm going to rebound. I'm going to boomerang that compliment back to you because it's so natural for you. I don't know. I mean, you're like, I think you're just the most effortlessly funny person I've ever known. And I remember like we would be at the Daily Show, like me and Allison would be together and you'd be like, oh, do you guys want to read? I don't know. I wrote a movie script. And we'd be like, what? And like, when? And you were like, I don't know, over the weekend. And then we would read it and we were like, this is a film that should be made. Like, Aww. What is happening? Why?
That's so nice of you to say. I feel like I work so hard at being funny. It's just left to my own devices. I'm just not at all funny.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. And did you know that your book, so you have among the myriad of projects that you also wrote a book called Not Funny, which is very funny. And it's my dad's coffee table book.
What?
My dad, Ron B. It's his coffee table book. And I don't think that's related to like him even knowing that I know you. Like he picked up the book. Yeah, like I had the book because we did a book event together and I had read the book and stuff.
Thank you, by the way, for that.
Oh, no thanks are necessary. And so I had like, for some reason, 2 copies of it and he took one and then he read it and he loved it. And he only reads spy novels. He actually only reads, he only reads either books about some type of
Clancy
international espionage or an airplane that flies into a nuclear power plant and causes a meltdown. Those are his 2 genres.
Wow.
So I think that's a real testament to how
amazing.
Yep. Okay. This conversation is going to go all over the place because I have so much I want to say.
I just want to hang out with you.
Stephen Colbert.
I know, dude. I know.
Oh my God. This is the first time I've really
seen a man get canceled.
This is the first,
Sorry. I love Stephen, but I know it's only supposed to happen to you.
And you. We're both. We understand about being canceled, but like I was shocked, but not surprised. How did you feel? I mean, it was shocking, definitely.
I think there's been so much shock that I love Stephen and he's going to do great no matter what, but I didn't.
It just felt like it was too big to fail. Like I just felt like that show is such an institution. It's hard to imagine it not existing.
Right. Yeah, no, the canceling of the Late Show in general felt weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the 60 Minutes thing, I just, that was so shocking that I'm like, if they can do that to 60 Minutes, then nobody's safe.
Yeah. I don't think anybody is safe.
I don't ever believe anyone's safe. There's no such thing as a safe space.
No. And I think more so than ever, absolutely no one is safe from now until when? I don't know. Maybe forever.
I know.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster, and it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, with Indeed sponsored jobs, there are no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, and you only pay for results. One of the things I actually really love about Indeed is that they have absolutely everything you need to hire in one place, okay? Resumes, messaging, scheduling. No more posting on message boards, emailing back and forth with the resumes, trying to keep track of who said what, when they said it. Indeed just makes hiring simple, which allows you to hire faster. How fast is Indeed? In the minute I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/SamB. Just go to Indeed.com/SamB right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/SamB. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring. Indeed is all you need. I'm trying to remember, was it your first time performing on The Late Show in 2016?
Yeah.
The night of the election.
I was so excited. I was so excited because, you know, it's like that story of like, she worked here and now she's on stage. And
yes. So for context, Stephen was doing a full hour like live show, November 2016.
The election night, the results came in while we were on stage. I was on stage when I found out.
Yep.
They were like, everybody thought Hillary was going to win. And they were like, oh my God, we're going to do media blackout. No one's going to find out. And so we'll get your actual, I don't know why I'm doing jazz hands, but we'll get your actual reaction. I'm imitating the male producer, how he sounded in my mind.
Yeah.
But we'll get your actual reaction in real time.
Yeah.
When Hillary wins, it'll be really cool. And I remember in the pre-interview, I asked him, I was like, what if Trump wins? And we both just nervously laughed and forgot.
But then as you're there, because I have to imagine, like for myself, because I was at work doing Full Frontal and we were planning for, like, we had like a cake. Like we had
I think I was at your show the night before. I was like, it was like I was at your show. It just was like the vibe was it was electric. The energy in New York.
Yeah, everybody was ready. We had like Lizzo was coming to perform on the show, and she was on a plane. Like she was like on an overnight jet to New York to be on the show. And then like around, I want to say like 10 p.m., everybody started to realize that there was no path for her to. So were you like in the green? Like describe the green room for me.
We had a media blackout.
Oh, so they didn't. And then, no results. Okay.
But then I was hearing like whisperings, and I was with my friends Elna and Molly, and I said the most horrific thing. Mm-hmm. And Molly, and this didn't even end up. This got cut, so I don't think anyone has ever heard me say this. Like, there's no tape of it. But Molly goes, "That's really funny. Mm-hmm. You should open with that." I was pretty sure Trump was going to win. I was about to go on stage. And I said, I feel like I'm about to give birth to a baby that's already dead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right.
I said that to my friend.
Yeah.
I have a dark sense of humor. I don't say that stuff willy-nilly or whatever.
No.
And she goes, that's really funny. You should open with that. On Colbert, on a panel with all men, on Colbert, like the only Catholic late night host show. So so before I said the thing that got me, I mean, that was the first thing out of my mouth. Yeah. And I thought it would be funny because I was just like, yeah, that's literally what it feels like. You have all this hope.
Yeah.
And then your hope is drained from your body.
Yeah.
The nicer way to put it would have been my hope that I've been carrying for months has been drained from my body. So you had an election night special too?
Oh, of course. We weren't doing a live show, but we were working and preparing for the next day, which was going to be like a victory party. So we had like made all these big plans and we were going to have like a huge celebration. And we had like the whole studio was filled with balloons and stuff for the next day. And then around 10 p.m., we were all at the office. We were like, this will be an all-nighter, probably like, just preparing or some, very late night. And then we were all like hiding in our turtlenecks and crying. And then and then I started getting like really abusive messages on my social media, like immediately. Like right away, right? Like, yeah. I think I opened up one of my social media, whatever it was, and there was a picture of me hanging from a tree. It was right as soon as it was called. I was like, oh my God. I was like, what has happened? Like, it's like a switch just got flipped in the universe.
Yeah.
But, that's like, right? The abuse just started. And I don't think it has really stopped.
Well, it's like you and Michelle Wolf. I mean, there are certain comics who are female, who are out there. And I've had the privilege to be so obscure. Like nobody...
Not anymore. Not after being on choice words.
Yeah, right. But it must be so scary.
Well, yeah, I think it is. But I don't know that no one doesn't get hateful content. Like no one doesn't. There's no performer or no public figure anymore, I think, who doesn't receive terrible things. I just think that the tone for women
always
is very different. And the tone for older women, like I'm 55, is very different. It's very different.
You think it's worse?
No.
For older women?
I don't think it's worse.
We can hide. We're invisible.
We're invisible, sort of. You get a lot of like, you're too old and ugly to rape. Like, I wouldn't even bother raping you. Like, it's still like a rape threat.
It's still a rape threat, but it's like yeah.
But it's like a different version of the same content. Anyway, we live in a world now where we're just like, the government is run by like incels and rapists.
I mean,
I don't even know how to have this conversation, quite honestly, because every day is just like, you and I are never going to go in a cheerful direction with our conversation because we love the dark spaces or embrace it.
This again, this is in my show too, but I remember when right after the election, I was working in a writer's room and all of these 20-year-olds were crying this election.
Yeah.
And I was trying to give them a pep talk, make them feel better. And I said, like, I know you guys are feeling powerless and heartbroken now, but just wait until your mom dies. It was like so sincere. I didn't mean it to be funny. And they were like, what? And I was like, it's just going to get so much worse.
Then you're going to be alone.
Yeah, I'm like, savor this moment. But okay, the positive thing is like when the worst thing has happened to you, your perspective on so much other stuff shifts.
Right.
And I do think we're very resilient as people. And it's really important to have that perspective. Like, yeah, I thought 2016 was the end of the world, but I still had my mom and like not random shoulder pain from just aging.
Right. Right.
So I think now it's like I'm older. I don't have my mom, but you just have to, I don't like the word gratitude because I feel like it's been bastardized by Los Angeles culture. So
yeah.
Being thankful for what you do have and having the perspective of there have been way worse times to live, especially as women, way worse than where we are now.
Right.
So
yeah, I couldn't pick a decade that I would go back to willingly. Like that's, I think, a very telling
our time
question.
At the Daily Show, our time, the early aughts, the mid-aughts were pretty special. I didn't even realize it at the time, but
they were like, I think the most verdant time for political comedy, actually, because you could make the points you want. You could make the comedy that you wanted to make that had a point to it, that had heart. Like I feel like you and I and all the people at the Daily Show in those times, we made comedy that was comedy first, but it had a real beating heart to it.
And people saw it because they weren't all on TikTok.
Well, because also they weren't receiving every single piece of information. Yeah, they weren't like receiving all of the information at all moments of every day, 24/7. Like you just didn't have access to the level of news. Do you think that when you go to the UK, when you perform overseas, do you feel like there's more of an appetite for political comedy over there right now? I think
for
it's
American political comedy, always, because
Right.
it's not close to them. They're like, what the hell's going on over there? They
Right.
want to get a sense of what is happening in our country. So they've always been open to it. Whereas in America, I think we all have fatigue all
We
the time.
do. I think also, for people used to kind of like watch late night television as a way to wrap up the days of it. They were just
Yeah.
like, what's going on in the world? Give me a couple of pointers about
Right.
the state of the world. Like, teach me something new that I didn't already know about. And now everybody just receives everything at every point. So they just
Yeah.
want to watch people fuck each other on a
Yeah.
remote island.
Oh, I haven't gotten into that one yet, but
No.
people love it.
They do. I don't
Yeah.
what do you?
I'm not I don't
I don't
really
do
want.
that.
I know. I can't say I
don't
don't
do
watch.
that.
Do you like how
I
we're
don't do
just like we're both not really talking, but having like a full conversation? Like
I know. It's such a shorthand. We're just like,
it's like if you have two AI, like how like the videos of like the two computers that just start speaking in code. Our whole conversation's like bleep blap bleep bleep.
bleep, 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 bleep. I fully understand you. I know. I don't know. I don't relax by watching things that are fun and light. I go like, is there a Nazi drama I can watch?
Right. Yes, same. I did watch Sinners. That was an incredible movie.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. I went to see it twice, actually. It relaxed.
Oh, wow.
It relaxed my brain. I know.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater twice, and that I would never do that. It is, I'm skipping. Now I'm going far afield again because I want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
I can talk about it.
Oh, I know you can. Okay, it is really well documented that in utero, you referred to your baby as Jeffrey Epstein. So, yeah, because...
Well, it's hard. I'm thinking about like, how do you raise a boy in America now, especially when his last name's Epstein? It's his last name. So it sucks that it's in the news right now. But
yeah,
the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing.
Wow.
Here's my conspiratorial take. All the information that we're seeing was readily available in like 2017, 2016, 2018. It was readily. So it's like, why are we seeing it now? Well, like the cynical take to me is like, okay, I believe the tech guys got Trump into power because they didn't want AI regulated. And Democrats would have regulated AI. And that's really as simple as it was. And now that they don't need him, they're helping resurface all this information to get him out of power, which he should be out of power. But I do believe that, it's driven, and this is maybe conspiratorial, but I do believe, these guys kind of control the means of production or whatever. Like the tech guys, really anything, on social media that we see is a lot of times them. So I know I sound a little conspiratorial, but
no, that's
it is interesting that now is the moment it's all resurfacing. Like,
so you feel like,
why now?
You feel like his usefulness has reached its outer limit. Like what they can get from him is they don't really need.
That's how I feel, especially with all the tariffs and everything. I just feel like they're like, we don't need this guy anymore.
Right.
We can just put J.D. Vance in and be fine.
Okay, tell me about your border stop, which was I go across the Canadian border all the time. I go like border, because I'm a dual citizen. My whole family lives in Canada. And you had an experience at the border that you wrote about that really, I feel like took the world by storm. People really stood up and noticed when you were talking about it.
Oh, well, Nikki Glaser talked about it at the Time 100 Gala, and that's how it went viral, I think.
Okay.
But so have you gone through the Vancouver border?
No.
U.S. security is right after you go through security through like the metal detector, and then you're right at that. There's like a portion in the Vancouver airport that's technically U.S. soil. Yeah. I didn't realize that. So, and I just came back from TED, which is a whole nother conversation. TED is so crazy. I did a TED Talk. I don't know if you saw.
Yes, I know. I want you to tell me about that experience
tell you
after.
All about that.
Okay.
It was so insane. And I had my guard down because I was still in Vancouver. And so the person was just asking me questions, and I'm an American citizen with a U.S. passport. So I don't really ever get interrogated coming back into the U.S. And he said, "What were you in town for?" And I said, he asked, "Are you in town for work?" And I didn't want him to think I was violating a work visa. So I just kind of offhandedly said, I was at TED doing comedy unpaid.
Okay.
And then he said, oh, you're a comedian.
Yeah.
What do you joke about?
Right.
And I don't know why I decided to flirt. I was in a good mood and it was Vancouver. So I just said everything other than airport security. And he didn't even react. Like, I forget that. And you're the same way. Like, you don't look funny. You look like a senator's wife. So people don't expect you to have a joke. They just...
Oh, no.
He's like, did you just cough? He looked at her like, he was like, did you just fart? Like, I don't know what just happened. And so then I realized that, and then I like saw on his shirt, it said U.S. Border Patrol. And I was like, oh no. And then he just asked again. He's like, I'm sorry, what do you joke about? And I kind of froze because I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was like, do I say like something about sex or something? And then I'm like, I don't, you're at the border with a random guy who probably has a gun, has no camera on him. It's not, so whatever. Before I could say anything, he said, do you make fun of politicians? As if he was helping me out. As if like, if I just said no, I could go through. And I said no, and he let me through. And then I remember getting through and there was a gift shop right there. And I went in and I saw a guy and I was like, I need to tell someone that this happened. Like, I can't believe this just happened.
Yeah.
And then I was like, just get to your flight. Because the gate was still, I hadn't reached it yet. So I just like, shut up. I texted Josh or maybe called him. I texted my friend who is a Muslim comedian. And I was like, she was at the conference too. And I was like, don't tell them you're a comedian.
Right.
Right. And then I texted a couple other friends that I knew were traveling. I was like, don't tell them you're a comedian. And then I got home. And I wasn't going to write about it because, as you know, it's like, I don't want to write about first-person accounts that aren't funny on my social media or anywhere. It just exposes you to, you're just makes you more vulnerable. Like, I don't want people to be like, she's lying or whatever. And then I sat with it. I talked to a friend who worked for Adam Schiff, and I told him what happened because Adam Schiff is our representative. And he sent me this meme that ICE had put out the day before that I can show you. It's actually wild. So they deleted it, and I double-checked with Politico to make sure that this is real because, as you know...
Oh, wow.
It says, stop at the border, people, money, products, ideas. They deleted it. Right. I still, on a funny side note, I'm still haunted by the piece we did with Peter Schiff about free market economics. And accidentally, the graphic person switched the S and the D on the supply and the demand chart, and I didn't catch it, and I should have, but...
Oh, my God. I think about that. And
then like that
often.
Piece is so crazy, but then because we had one typo, it discredited us. So like I always like fact check ×5. So I just kind of wanted to make sure that that meme was legit. Anyway, this happened, I think, the day after. That might have been posted the 10th of April or around then. And then I passed through the border on the 11th of April. So it makes sense that the Border Patrol, who wasn't malicious, he didn't recognize me, he was just literally following orders. It makes sense that in that context, if that was posted on ICE, that he would ask that question.
100%. And I do feel like, especially among Canadians, there's a lot of conversation about shenanigans at the border because people are getting asked questions that they have never been asked in their very frequent travel across the border. And it seems to have like kind of settled now.
In a sense, it's not a big deal, but it did feel like a flashback of The Handmaid's Tale. Like it did feel like kind of surreal that I was asked that, but at the same time, I was totally safe. I wasn't threatened. What if I had said yes? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then like also compared to what's actually happening in LA with ICE, what's happening in LA is so insane. They're picking up anybody who looks like brown or Mexican or undocumented. They're just picking people up. They're harassing them. They're disappearing people. And I kind of knew this would happen. Like things are shifting so quickly that, something like that in April doesn't even register anymore.
I feel like people are so exhausted and people don't know how to be or what to do. What are you doing to make yourself feel like you can, I don't know, hang on until, I don't know. I don't want to say survive is not the right word. That's not it. It's not, we're not there. Right. But like, how are you sort of enduring or how are you keeping, are you keeping hope alive or are you like, well, this is like, we're developing in our family a little checklist of like red lines that are getting crossed, and a lot of them are getting crossed. A lot. Like there's a full encroachment on our list of red lines.
I mean, I'm talking about it. That always helps.
Yeah.
I'm talking as much as I can. this isn't the first time, like, the history of like human evolution. We're always kind of like moving and fleeing and whatever. Is a question like when will it be time to leave, or like how are you managing your mental health? Like mental health wise,
how are you managing? Do you wake up in the morning and are you checking in with the news as much as you used to?
I have tuned out a little bit, which I feel kind of guilty about. But also, it's not just the news. I think everything going on right now is so. With social media, there's also this like performative element, and there's it's like too much. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how do we be impactful? There are ways to be impactful without having to broadcast it across social media. There are ways to like, just trying to like help my community locally and like do things. If I feel powerless, there are people that have less power, help them. You know what I mean? Like that I'm just kind of doing stuff like that. And then also physically, like I have a really great acupuncturist.
Great.
After my mom died, I had really bad heartbreak. I actually had heart pain. Mm-hmm. I started seeing an acupuncturist and my pain went away. And then I know this is so random, but I played tennis all through high school and my mom would always take me to tournaments. And so I started playing tennis again and I just feel like her presence.
Oh.
So those are two things that have actually really, really helped.
Oh, that's really helpful. Are you playing tournaments again?
I'm not playing tournaments. I'm just playing these. They have like these live ball sessions in LA where you can play with a bunch of different people. I played with a friend who is a chef and he's very, very intense. And like we were just hitting and he's like, we can't use day old balls. We have to use fresh balls. And I hurt my shoulder for 3 months and now it's better. But it's the first time I've ever injured myself. Not like exciting, not like a news breaking for Sam Bee's podcast, but
no.
I gotta I'm getting old. I feel old. I felt 28 for a good decade, and now I'm like, it's catching up.
Yeah. You know what? I can't actually wait for you to, because like when I do a show, I do a show about menopause.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
And I gotta tell you, like, I love doing it because it feels like. I don't know. My show got canceled. I was like, well, what do I want to do? Like, it took a long time to kind of figure out what I like. Like, what do I need to do to keep kind of pushing forward? And that was such a complex, long-term, just physical change. Like, it was so emotionally complicated and heavy and like crazy and so stupid, like embarrassing. It's just like all these things like shoved together into one. And I was like, well, the least that I can personally do is say out loud how hard it was for me. And I'm a person who says hard things. Like my whole job is to say things that are like stupid and embarrassing and hard to say.
It's not stupid.
So that other people can like say their stupid things. Like, I think it's actually good to like,
it's great.
Say the worst stuff out loud. It helps everyone.
Yeah.
So what I guess the point I'm trying to make is I know you're not excited probably for perimenopause, but I'm excited for you because I'm like here for the content that you're going to create when that is underway.
Oh, no.
I know. My shoulders, I got frozen shoulder in both shoulders. I had it in both shoulders. Yeah. Over time.
I just read about how frozen shoulder, they just let women have it without any
and
treatment.
Yes. They don't.
It was shoulder impingement. I thought it might be frozen shoulder, but it wasn't.
Oh, no. It's okay. Well, frozen shoulder is.
It's a real thing. I looked at,
It's a real thing. And it's basically like, I think it's like,
so like you were just walking around like.
Well, I had it on my right shoulder while I was doing full frontal, and it was.
Oh my God.
Bananas. Like I would cry I would see stars. Like it was like a cartoon. Like if you touched it, I would have like a halo of stars going around my head, like in a Looney Tunes. It was so wild. And then I got it on the other side, which often happens, but it like happens to first of all, it happens to men and women, and men.
It happens to men?
Yep. All the time. And they don't talk about it at all because they think it's like a women's issue, but actually it happens to men. And I think on almost equal numbers. It's a middle-aged thing. We need to find
all menopause symptoms that happen to men.
Oh,
just so we can get healthcare.
Just so we could get healthcare. Did you listen to I'm sorry. I'm not even doing a professional podcast
I don't
anymore.
care.
Did you listen to the retrievals? Did you
listen
listen
to the first one? There's a new one about C-sections. I actually can't. I can't. It's too triggering.
Okay.
Because I went into labor, like I talk about this a little bit in the show, but I don't get too into it because it's like only sad. But I went into labor so depleted. I'd been grieving my mom for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I was like, if you touched me, it hurt. Like when you're in emotional pain, it's still the same. Like I'm pretending I'm a doctor, that I've read medical journals on this. I haven't, but your pain receptors are shot. Like I was already in pain before I went into labor. Like I wasn't even, and I should have had just a C-section. My husband was like, you should just get that. And I was like, but because I live in LA, they're like, don't do that.
Just take a warm bath. We're here for you.
And I should have had a doula, but every doula I talked to was low-key anti-vax. And so I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't want somebody giving me misinformation while I was already vulnerable. So I didn't have a doula. So I just kind of went in. It was like 40 hours of labor and then an emergency C-section.
Okay.
Put her there, partner. I'm high-fiving my toddler.
Okay, well then don't listen to it because it is honestly, it won't make you feel good. But yes, when you must have just been a completely raw nerve.
I mean, this isn't funny, but I went crazy. I was in the hospital for 5 days.
Yeah.
My baby had jaundice because I didn't know to feed him. Also when you have a C-section, you have a gaping wound and then they put a baby on you and expect you to breastfeed when you don't know how to do that either.
Right.
I didn't know. And the nurses, God bless them.
Mm.
I didn't realize it at the time, but they had all these signs that were in marker, mama, breastfeed it. The baby will tell you when they're done. And I didn't realize it was directed, passive aggressively directed at me because I just wasn't feeding him. I didn't know to.
Right.
And then the baby got jaundice. And then because it's a baby friendly hospital, which is code for, we cut our nursery to save costs because we're privatizing. We're going to put the baby in the room with you and pretend it's for the benefit of you when that's actually not the reality at all.
Yeah.
So they wheeled a blue light into our room. I hadn't slept in about 4 days. I was totally in so much pain. And they wanted me to administer blue light therapy.
Oh.
The only thing because they didn't have nurseries.
Okay.
So knowing that my mom was going to die, I had the night nurse and I had her come while I was in the hospital because I couldn't physically move. So Josh would come during the day and she'd come at night. The only thing funny about that too is she is the best. She was the best. Mm-hmm. But she would dress in scrubs and she carried a fake baby around with her because she was trying to teach me how to breastfeed. But the hospital was there's a crazy lady pretending to be a nurse. We want to make sure she doesn't kidnap anyone. She's running loose in the hospital. And it was so funny to me because I've seen every Lifetime movie, but I remember I couldn't laugh because my body was physically in pain. So anyway, I'm not really aggressive, but there was this one moment where I hadn't slept in 5 days and they wheeled the blue light therapy thing is this huge blue cart and they wanted to put the baby on it. The baby's of course screaming because he's under blue lights.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to administer it. And then they were like, Mama, you just need to sleep right after they wheeled this blue light. And I was like, how can I sleep with a screaming infant and a blue light while I'm in a bed that's a replica of the one my mom just died in? And I went crazy. And then they were like, okay. And those sweet nurses took my child for 3 hours into their break room, cured him of his jaundice. Also, they gave him formula, and I was like, "Of course, you can give him formula." What?
Yes.
They're so bent on not giving them formula, but then it's just give him formula. He ended up. This is too much information, but I have joked about it on stage. I breastfed him way too long. I would still be breastfeeding him if my partner wasn't you have to stop. But we had the writer's strike, and I was going to stop at the 6-month mark, and then I was just I kept going. I was
I could keep going. I'd be doing it now. My kids are my son's 17. I'm we could still do this. I loved it. It's one of the most enriching.
Well, you hated and then I hated it first, but then, and then I was up all night and I was tweeting about it. And then because I was tweeting about this thing nobody talks about, I was getting people asking me people were sending me merch. And I was I don't want to be a breastfeeding influencer. I shut that down so fast.
Right.
But nobody talks about this. And I was going crazy.
I do love talking about it. I feel what we do, my God, what we do to mothers, we just, It's just like, have a baby, 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 don't not have a baby, don't not have a baby. And then you have a baby and you're just cut loose. You just cut loose. They're just like, for me, having my kids, I've had 3, all they did was like show me a video that was like, hey, don't shake that baby. Now get the fuck out. And you're just in this like homemade diaper that you made yourself, that they were like, take 3 dog pads and make an origami, and here's some webbed underpants. Now go home. And you're just like, I'm lost. I'm a shipwreck. You must have felt like a fucking shipwreck.
I mean, the C-section stuff.
Yeah.
That was so, I can't believe they expect you to go back. Like I couldn't sit up. I couldn't get out of bed. There's one night I was like, I had to wake up Josh because I was like, I have to pee. I couldn't sit up. So it's like to care for a baby when you can't physically sit up.
Yeah.
I just can't, I can't believe, like, I think about like single moms. Like if you have a C-section and you have no support, you're fucked. How do you get back to the doctor's office the first week if you can't even physically sit up, let alone hold an infant?
You can't physically move. You're receiving messages from all over the place. Like we definitely in New York receive those messages too, that it's just like breast, 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 breast. And I did it, but it was so excruciating for the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, if it's excruciating, you're doing something wrong. You got a bad latch. And I'm like, no. And like after, like what I learned was, no, my nipples don't fit in this tiny baby mouth. They have to, his mouth has to grow to meet the need. Like there's actually just like some anatomical stuff that's happening, and it's normal for it to hurt sometimes, like a lot of times.
I didn't, it was so painful. The only thing I do, I don't really give people unsolicited, that's a lie. I give people unsolicited advice.
I love doing that. It's my favorite.
Whenever I see like a pregnant woman, like a really pregnant woman, and I'll like, I am shilling a product I have no connection to, but there's like this, they're about $60. You can get them on Amazon.
Yeah.
They're like, they're called silverettes. They're just like these silver like caps, and you put them on your boobs all the time, and the silver has anti-inflammatory properties, and it just like calms your boob, so you don't need the ointments, because the ointments were like sticky, and then he was like eating the ointments. It's the only thing that worked. Those little silver cups on my boobs.
Oh my God. I wanted to, we don't have to just talk about giving birth because there's other stuff in the world, but it is.
Yeah, and if we're going to do that, we should get paid.
We should get paid for that. But I do want to describe my doula, who totally fell asleep while I was in labor. She fell asleep. And
my friend's doula fell asleep. Yeah, I'm curious if it's the same one.
It might have been. She was like, like I called her. I'm like, it's happening, Kelly. I don't remember what her name was. And she was like, I just got off a different birth. Great timing. And she showed up. And she was like, I got a nap. And she sat herself in a chair in the corner of my room. And she was like, do you have any blankets? And she took a blanket and she put it over her head. Yeah. And she put it over her head like a ghost, like she was wearing a ghost costume. And she snored all night. She just put a ghost blanket over herself and snored sitting up in the corner. So it was like there was a dead, like a partially dead woman in my room as I labored. And I was like, I don't even want to wake her up because I hate her so much that I hate this. And then eventually I was like, you have to get out of here. You have to leave.
Yeah, you have to leave. That's so annoying.
A snoring ghost. Yeah. Do you feel like, I know people probably say this to you, because you do like comedy that's rooted in, I wouldn't say, do you call yourself a political comedian? I mean, you
not anymore.
Aren't.
Not anymore.
According to the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. But
I mean, I think all comedy is political. Can we? Yeah. You know, like anytime a woman is doing comedy, or anytime anyone who's not like a white guy is doing comedy, it's political.
It is. It is. Do you wish that you had a show right now? Do you wish that?
Yeah, I always want a show. I mean, kind of, but then I don't have a podcast. Like I'm like there's like, I don't know. I wish I had like an outlet where I could make things and get paid to make things and have people see them.
Yes, that would be nice.
Like, wasn't it fun? Like just sketches, making funny sketches.
But I really miss that. Like, first of all, there's a couple of things that I really miss, and I'm sure you do too. I miss field pieces. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, I really miss that.
I love that. I loved working with you. I mean, that job was, it was so hard, but it was like, I remember I did this piece, I think Jordan Klepper was a correspondent.
Yeah.
And it was about a chemical spill in Charleston, West Virginia.
Okay.
And we did like a Toxic Avenger parody where we found this woman, Cindy, maybe Frick, I forget her last name, but she was a state senator. And I felt really bad for her because she was such a good sport, but she was a Republican and she was voting to put chemicals in the water. And she came on our show and I had her act out her own chemical contamination because it was a Toxic Avenger parody. So the joke was that the water's turning Republicans into Democrats. And everybody in the field, all the guys were like, you're not going to be able to get a sitting like elected official to like do your bidding or like do your bits. And we like fully got her to do it. And I'm in a hotel room with her. And I'm like, Cindy, what did it feel like when you first tasted that the water had chemicals? She's like, I got a headache. I'm like, can you physicalize that for us? And she goes, she drinks it and she goes, anyway. And she did spit takes. I felt like I was directing a bad porn. Yeah. I never laughed harder. I remember getting home on the plane. I was like, if our plane crashes and I die, like, I want someone to be able to edit this footage so that people can see it. The piece didn't end up being like one of the most viral pieces by any means. But like that feeling of like, I can't believe what I captured. Right. I can't believe like what we're going to get, like what we got like on film. And just like that period. And then when you get into the edit and you're like, you see the footage and you can edit it. Like, yeah, I mean, that is such a high.
Such a high. And I feel like it has fed every project since, right? Like the skills that you learn at The Daily Show, the skills that you learned, I mean,
for me, for sure, like Indefensible, my true crime show, which is also terrifying and sad. The fact that we were able to make it remotely funny is just a testament to having worked at The Daily Show.
100%. Because it was funny in the most tragic context. Like, with the saddest stories in the world.
I didn't get to greenlight all of them. There's one story about a black serial killer preying on black women in Newark, Montclair, New Jersey. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I can't make this funny. Are you guys fucking insane? And obviously it's not like funny, but you know, you call out like missing white women syndrome and and like we talked to, you know, and we made it work, but oh my God, that show.
Oh yeah. How long did it take to put together? How many episodes did you do?
12. We did
12.
Yeah. 2 seasons, 6 episodes each season.
How much time did it take to craft a single episode, would you say? Between like from the inception, like from being pitched the story ideas, researching the whole everything.
I could tell you for sure. I don't remember offhand. I do remember the last couple episodes. I was 8 or 9 months pregnant. I remember editing that show 9 months pregnant as my mom was dying. I left her. I never would have left her. She didn't want me to be with her, but I left because I was in the middle of production and she's like, go work on your show. And I didn't think she was going to die like 3 weeks later. Like I didn't think. The whole thing was like so crazy. But I remember like sitting across from a guy whose son was murdered as my mom was dying. And like, it's just like, and I'm 8 or 9 months pregnant. I'm like, what the fuck?
What is my job? How did I build this career? What's happening?
My mom she saw the cuts of the show. She was like, it was good to take her mind off of, you know, when you're going through it. And she was because it happened so fast, she was in we were like both in such denial. But I think the denial was like, helpful at that time. And also I was so pregnant, so she didn't want me anywhere near her. Like I had to almost pretend because I didn't, you know, my kid is like the sweetest little guy in the world, but part of me thinks it's because like his third trimester and my, like it was like the most traumatic time of my life.
Right. When you're doing Motherfucker, are you like, okay, we're going to film. How do you know, when do you know that you're going to film it? Are you going to put it to tape?
I've been lucky the last 2 shows I developed in Edinbra, I was able to sell them.
Okay.
First to CISO and then to Peacock, which is also CISO.
Okay.
It's like NBC Digital. Great. Just rebranded. And so with this one, I don't know if I'm going to sell it. But I'm going to tape it in Edinburgh and then we're going to shop it around and we're going to try to sell it. And yeah, no, I mean, this show is cool. It is a departure from what I've done. But I do remember like HBO is interested in, so before it was called Lady Killer, it was called Miscarriage of Justice. And it was a fully just political show that I did in 2019, right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't personal. And I remember their note was like, can it be more personal? And then I got pregnant and I ended up selling it elsewhere. And then it became a personal show because I was physically pregnant when I was doing it. Even though I also, with Lady Killer, I tried so hard I literally found a dress that matched the curtain. I wanted to I didn't want to look proud. I was like, I don't want people to know I'm pregnant. I was 7 months pregnant. I'm like, can I hide this?
Right. Can we Photoshop as we go?
But I just didn't want it to be, I didn't want my body to be part of my performance as much as it already was. But yeah, with this one, it's like so personal. But I do think after the run, it'll just be really sharp, and it is evergreen to an extent. It's not as timely as the last two specials.
How do you know which ones to take? Because you're doing like 18 show. Are you doing 18?
Yeah, I'm
performances?
Doing it. Yeah, I have one show in Philly this week, and then 3 in New York. I'm doing 3.
Oh,
yeah. If you want to come on,
I do.
I'll put you on the list for sure.
Yes, please.
They're just like I'm just workshopping it, and then I'm doing 18 in Edinbra.
Okay. And do you tape like the last one? This is such a stupid question. Do you tape like the final 2? Or
I think I'm going to tape like the final 2.
Okay, the final 2.
Then, and then that won't be like the final tape, but hopefully I can just give that to people.
Right.
I mean, there are 1,000 more, 10,000, 20,000 more comedians than since when I started. So and like fewer platforms. So I don't know if this will, come out, and everyone's always like, put your special on YouTube. I'm like, you can say that if you're like a guy. If I put my specials on YouTube,
come on.
I'm going to just get death threats. No one is going to appreciate them except for people who want to kill me.
Just for the incels. Just break into that community. We've been talking for like a full hour. It felt effortless.
Sam,
like 2
I could talk
seconds.
to you forever.
Again, I reiterate, I love you. I love your specials.
Love you too.
I love your writing, your style, your spirit.
Right back at you. Sam, you're
an excellent person.
One of my favorite comedians and people I've ever worked with, and I just love you so much.
Same. That was Jena Friedman, and I had no choice but to look up one thing. We were talking about Ben & Jerry's, and she mentioned their graveyard of flavors. Which I think is such a funny thing to be true. But how many flavors have they actually put out to pasture there? Put to rest? 35. 35 whole flavors, including Ethan Almond, Economic Crunch, and Dastardly Mash. Gone, but not forgotten. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Bee. We'll see you next week for some more choice words. Thank you for listening to Choice Words, which was created by and is hosted by me. The show is produced by Tzvia Baron-Reinstein with editing and additional producing by Josh Richmond. We're distributed by Lemonada Media, and you can find me at RealSamB on X and Instagram. Follow Choice Words wherever you get your podcasts or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.